Before we start today's class is going to be a heart opening class, so we're going to focus on the region of the chest and also kind of the space between the shoulder blades on your upper back, so opening up that region of the body, and of course focusing the practice on love today, since that is generally what the heart kind of correlates to. So on that note, we are going to get started laying down. So if you want to find your comfy resting position, find whatever feels good for you, and we will meet up there. Once you lay down, gently draw your eyes closed, and we'll take a couple moments to allow ourselves to arrive here and now. And you can find whatever laying down, resting position feels good in your body right now. There's no right or wrong, just what feels good for you. And again, once you draw your eyes closed, assuming that feels okay in your body, allow yourself to simply check in and notice how you feel right now. Give yourself a gentle body scan and become aware of areas of your body that feel good, that maybe feel tight. Just become aware of how your body feels right now. And find love for exactly how it feels in the moment. Eventually draw your awareness to your mind, to your headspace, and simply become aware of how you feel right now within the mind. And again, find love for the state that you are in right now. You're perfect just as you are. Eventually tune into your emotional well-being, to the general energy of the body within, around you. Notice the state that you're in right now, emotionally, energetically. And yet again, simply become aware, let go of judgment, find love for what is. Eventually begin to direct your awareness to the sensation of the breath in the body. As you breathe, feel the body expand and contract. Feel the body fill with air on the inhales. Feel the body relax, contract on the exhales. And allow your awareness to begin to simply rest on the sensation of the breath. As your mind is cradled by the feeling of the breath in the body, allow the body to relax around the breath. So melt the body down towards the ground beneath you, allowing the shoulders to fall heavy, relax the hips, the legs. Allow the back of the head to press towards the ground as you relax your facial expression, softening the forehead, the eyes, the jaw. Continue to feel the breath within, but allow your body to melt away around the breath. If you'd like, you can deepen your inhales and exhales. You can also stay just as you are. And as we rest effortlessly here, I'd like to invite you to bring into your awareness a loving memory. This can be an activity that you love to do, a place you love to be, whether it's real or imaginary. It can be a person that you love to be with, really anything that evokes the feeling of love within. Whatever comes to you, imagine as though it's here with you or you are there in it right now. Bring it in through all your senses until you feel the fluttering lightness in your heart, the feeling that is love. And allow yourself to simply rest in this energetic state for a couple of moments, playing with your imagination and allowing that to bring the feeling of love to your being. Throughout our practice today, feel free to come back to this memory, to come back to this feeling in your body. Continue to breathe deeply, igniting the feeling of love within. If you'd like to stay simply resting here, focusing on the breath or the feeling of love in the body, feel free to do so. And at any point, feel free to come back to this position. Tonight, this practice is for you. You can do whatever you'd like. Sometimes our body simply needs rest, so please just give yourself what feels good tonight. If you'd like to begin to flow, on an inhale, reach the hands up overhead and pull the feet towards the front of your room, giving yourself a nice full body stretch. On an exhale, gently hug the knees in towards you, wrapping your arms around the legs, hugging the knees in towards the chest. You can rock side to side here or stay perfectly still. Just find what feels good in your body, but keep your awareness inwards. Feel the breath and notice how the body feels in this shape. Let go of any judgment. Simply find love for how you feel right now. Take a couple more big breaths. We will eventually make our way to seated for our first flow. So your choice, you can gently roll over to either side and press yourself up, or begin to rock up and down the length of your mat, arriving in seated. Find what works for you this evening. Take your time. And once you arrive in your seated posture, find the seat that works for you. That could be cross-legged, legs extended, whatever feels good in your body. And we're going to start our first flow by placing the hands on the heart. So right hand over the center of the chest, left hand on top. Eyes open or closed, totally up to you. And begin to send your breath to your hands. On the inhales, feel the chest rise and expand. On the exhales, feel the chest soften. Take a couple big breaths. Maybe you can even tune into the beat of the heart under the hands. Notice what you feel and simply allow your mind to be with it for a couple of rounds of breath. Take another breath or two here. If the eyes are closed, gently peel them open. And on your next inhale, sweep the hands out and around, reach up overhead, and then exhale, grasp the right hand around the left wrist. Shoulders relax down the back body. Inhale, sit up super tall, so crown of the head reaches up, and then exhale, peel on over toward the right hand side. Just a gentle side stretch. Low belly pulls in and up, and imagine pressing that left hip down towards the mat. So you should feel a nice stretch along the left side body here. You can gaze in front of you, you can look up towards the ceiling, whatever feels good for your neck. Breathe to the left side body as you relax your jaw. Take one more big breath. Beautiful job. Inhale, come up to center and switch your grip. Exhale on over to the other side. Pause here for a couple breaths. Continue to press through that right hip now. Anchor it down to the ground. Low belly pulls in and up and relax the shoulders down the back body as you soften your jaw. Feel the breath within. Can you send it to the right side body? Couple more big breaths here. Take about one more round of breath. Great job. Inhale, come up to center, palms touch, prayer hands. Exhale, hands to heart center, and then allow them to lower to the legs. On your next inhale, you have two options. Reach the arms out in front of you. Option A is to give yourself a nice hug with the right elbow stacked on top of the left. If this feels like enough of a stretch to your upper back, you're going to stay right here. If you want to move a little bit further, we'll move to eagle arms. Only if you feel open today. Eagle arms, you'll cross the right elbow over the left, hinge at the elbows. Maybe you just press the outsides of the hands together. Maybe you intertwine and then press the palms together, kind of twisting the palms. Again, find what works for you. I'll turn so you can see a side view, either eagle arms or giving yourself a nice hug. We're just going for a gentle shoulder opener. Wherever you're at, the shoulders relax down the back body, low belly pulls in and up. If you're in eagle arms, the elbows lift and the hands press away from the face. You can look at the thumbs. Pause for a couple more breaths, intentionally breathing to the upper back. Relax your jaw. Take one more big breath here. On your exhale, unwind and then clasp the hands behind you. So interlace the fingers and then inhale, reach the heart forward as you pull the hands back behind you. Should feel a nice stretch on the front of the chest as you broaden the collarbones. Again, relax the shoulders down the back body and imagine as though someone's standing behind you trying to lift your hands up and pull them towards the back of your mat. Low belly pulls in, rib cage stays pulling down towards the upper hip points, and breathe to the chest now. Relax the jaw as much as you can and breathe to the heart. 2 more big breaths. 1 more, you got it. On the exhale, release. If you need to give yourself a quick shake of the shoulders, feel free to do so. We're going to do the same 2 stretches on the other side now. So inhale, hands reach out. This time, left elbow stacks on top of the right, and your choice. Give yourself a nice hug or move into eagle arms. Again, only if it feels good and something you can breathe in will you move into eagle arms. Either way, relax those shoulders down the back body, lift the elbows up, and if you're in eagle arms, press the hands away from the face. Relax your jaw and breathe to the upper back. Couple more big breaths. Feel the breath manifest between the shoulder blades. 2 more breaths. 1 more big breath. Great job. On your exhale, release, and then we're going to clasp behind, this time with the opposite pinky on the bottom, so it'll feel like an awkward grip. Inhale, roll the shoulders onto the back body, lift the hands and pull them away from you. Low belly pulls in, look forward, and breathe to the heart space, the chest. Relax your jaw, soften your gaze. We'll be here for a couple more big breaths. Inhaling to expand the chest. Exhale, soften. You got it. 1 more big breath. Great job. On your exhale, release. If you need to shake those shoulders out, feel free to do so. We have 1 more posture left in this flow. If your legs are crossed, straighten them out in front of you. Maybe you kind of bob those knees up and down a bit if that feels good. We're going to move forward into a very, very relaxed forward fold, almost like a ragdoll type shape. So on your inhale, sit up super tall. And on your exhale, just begin to allow the chest to curl down towards the legs. So relax the legs. You might even notice the big toes kind of spinning out towards the sides. Arms can rest by your sides. Allow your body to just be limp here. Breathe deeply. Relax the back of your neck. The spine will naturally kind of curve as the head pulls towards the ground. Relax the legs. Soften the shoulders. Relax the jaw. And breathe here. Feel the breath in your body. Just let yourself hang in this restful, easy state. Maybe you continue to breathe through the heart, through the upper back. Maybe you even tune back into that loving thought that we found at the beginning of class. Take another big breath here. And on your next inhale, slowly and gently bring yourself back up to seated. Take a big breath or 2 here. Just notice how you feel. So that's our first flow. I will recap for you if you want to go ahead and repeat that flow. As always, feel free to either continue to do your own thing. You can do all, none, or some of that. Find what works for you tonight. For this first flow, we started with the hands on the heart. We felt the feeling of the breath under the hands and maybe even tuned into the beat of the heart. You can stay here for as long as you'd like. You can stay here for the whole time. So find what works in your body. From here, we allowed the hands to lower and then move to the side stretch. So the hands reached up, Grabbed around one wrist and then tilted on over, held there for a little bit, and then moved on over to the other side, switching the grip of the hands. After that posture, we moved to the flow of the hug or eagle arms to the clasp, and we did that on each side. So again, you either gave yourself a big hug or moved to eagle arms and then clasp behind, and then you did the same thing but with the opposite elbow on the bottom and then the opposite pinky on top when you clasp behind. So we're working into the chest and the upper back there. The final posture in this flow was that nice, easy, relaxed forward fold. So like the ragdoll type nature, just allowing your body to drape in whatever shape it falls in. So again, it was hands over the heart, side stretch, then eagle arms or hug to the clasp on each side, and then landed in our forward fold. So again, find what works for you. You can do all, none, or some of it, and I will be here to guide your awareness. Take your time and just find what feels good. No matter where you choose to go with this flow, find somewhere to focus your mind. Whether it's feeling the breath in the body or cultivating that loving, energetic state like we did at the beginning of class. Give your mind something to focus on so you notice when it drifts away and you can bring yourself back. Flow with your breath. And simply allow yourself to be here and now. Notice where your mind is at. Can you become aware of what you're thinking about? If I asked you the question, what are you thinking about right now? What would you answer? We're here to become aware, to get to know ourselves a little bit better. If your mind has drifted away, taken you off of your mat or out of this time and space, that is okay. The mind's job is to think, and we're here to become aware. Only when you're ready, come back to the present moment. Find your way to the breath. Feel the entirety of your inhales and exhales as you breathe through the heart space. The breath is happening here and now in real time. When we find our way to the breath, we can connect with the present moment and in turn allow the mind to relax. Be easy with yourself in this practice and allow yourself to simply be. wherever you're at, continue to breathe deeply, to feel the breath in your body, and to relax around the breath. Start by softening the space around your heart. Relax the chest, the shoulder blades, the shoulders. Soften the jaw, the ears, the back and belly. As we soften to the moment and find peace with what is, we allow love to grow. Whenever you complete those postures, take a couple moments to either allow yourself to intuitively flow and just go to where your body wants to take you, or simply rest. Take some time to be with the breath in the body, to be with yourself and your mind as it is. Again, we're not here to turn off, to escape, to get away. We're here to be with ourselves, to become aware, to be present, and to live fully in the moment, whatever that means. Maybe you take a couple moments to reconnect with the loving thought, memory, activity, whatever it was that you found at the beginning of class, until you feel that emotional energy of love within. Take the next couple moments for you before we move on. If you'd like to continue to flow and do your own thing, feel free to do so. If you do want to move on to our next set of postures, we'll meet up in Child's Pose. So you take your time, find a way that feels good for you to get there. If you are moving to Child's Pose, you can make your way to tabletop position, hands and knees. Big toes touch, knees spread wide, and eventually sink those hips back to the heel. But again, take your time, find whatever way feels good to get there. Once you're in Child's Pose, take a couple moments to simply notice how you feel. Become aware of the body in this shape. Become aware of the mind in this shape. And how the breath manifests in your body in this shape. Let yourself feel and become one, mind and body. If you'd like to stay in Child's Pose just as you are, feel free to do so. I'm going to offer a variation to help open up the upper back, but again, find what feels good for you. If you want to move to the variation that I'm offering, you'll bring your hands to touch like prayer hands in front of you. From there, on an inhale, you'll lift the prayer hands up off the ground, bending the elbows, and just lift to a point that feels good for you. Maybe the hands come behind the head. You can even take a step with the elbows to inch them forward, and then you'll really begin to feel a broadening of the shoulder blades, potentially even a stretch behind the upper arms. If this does not serve your body, feel free to rest in a neutral child's pose. Relax the shoulders, soften the jaw, and breathe deeply here. Send the breath to the area that you feel the most tension or tightness and breathe into it. Pause here for a couple more breaths. Whenever your next exhale arises, gently lower the hands back to the mat if you have the prayer hands. Continue to breathe once they're lower, just noticing how you feel in the upper back. On your next inhale, gently lift up tabletop position, hands and knees. On the exhale, curl the toes under and lift your knees up. Press those hips on back, down dog. And pause here in your downward facing dog for a couple moments. Feel free to pedal out the feet, bend the knees, shift the weight forward and back. Wake up the backs of the legs a bit and continue to stay with the breath. Just notice how you feel here. Relax the jaw and allow your head to become used to being below the hips. So breathe deeply. Again, let yourself just be with your body as it is. You're perfect just as you are. On your next inhale, step your feet out as wide as the mat, maybe even slightly wider. Find what feels good for you. And on the exhale, begin to walk the hands back towards your feet. So we're coming to the backs of the mat. On your inhale, rise up halfway, pull the heart forward, and exhale, we're gonna hang heavy here. So your choice, legs can be working towards straight, or you can add a significant bend to the knees. Find what feels good for you. Something that feels a little bit more relaxing than working, if you will. Hands can dangle in the air. You can wrap hands around opposite elbows, or you can even hold on to the legs. But again, play around with the bends in the knees. Find the spot that just feels like a good stretch for you. You can even play around with where the weight lies. So maybe you shift the weight more towards the toes, heels get light, or shift the weight back towards the heels, and just notice where you feel different stretches. Wherever you are, relax the back of the neck completely and allow the crown of the head to drape towards the ground beneath you. Relax the shoulders. Allow gravity to really decompress the spine. Relax the jaw and breathe here. If it feels like too much to hang heavy, at any point you can rise up halfway and simply stretch the backs of the legs. Find what works for you. We'll be here for a couple more rounds of breath. Stay with the feeling of the breath in the body. If your arms are bound, on an exhale, gently release them down. On your next inhale, rise up halfway, pull the heart forward, and then exhale, place your left hand somewhere on the right leg. So we're coming across the body. The lower you go on that leg, the deeper the stretch is going to be. And we're going to twist, but before we do so, notice if when you place the hand on that leg, if you shifted your weight over toward the right-hand side. See if you can even out the hips by pulling that left hip back towards the center of the mat. From here, on your next inhale, lift that right hand up towards the sky. Maybe your gaze follows. Maybe you continue to look towards the ground or towards the side wall. Breathe deeply here, and again, you can play around with how deep you have a bend in those knees. Find what works for you as you continue to draw that left hip backwards. A couple more big breaths. Breathe to the heart and where you feel the stretch the most. On your exhale, release that right hand down, let go of the left hand around the right leg. Inhale, rise up halfway, pull the heart forward. Exhale, right hand now to the left leg. And before we open up, make sure you continue to pull that right hip now towards the center of the mat. And then inhale to open. Breathe deeply. Pause here. Relax the jaw, soften the gaze. Notice what you feel. Let yourself just be in the body. 2 more big breaths. 1 more. On your exhale, slowly lower the hand down. Release the bind around the left leg. Inhale, rise up halfway, pull the heart forward, and this time exhale, step your feet in towards hips distance. On your exhale, bend the knees so much so that you can place the belly on the thighs. So keep bending until you get that contact. And from here, you have 2 options. You can simply let yourself hang forward, or if you want to go to more opening in the chest, you'll bring the hands behind you, clasp the hands just like we did at the beginning of class, and then lift the hands up off the low back, reaching them towards the ceiling, possibly reaching them towards the front of your mat. Breathe deeply wherever you choose to be. Relax the back of your neck. Let yourself just melt into the shape. In this stretch, we're not so much going for a stretch in the legs as we are in the upper back, so make sure you have that deep bend in the knees. Couple more big breaths here. You got it. One more breath. If your hands are bound, gently release them down to the mat on an exhale. Inhale, rise up halfway, pull the heart forward, and your choice from here, you can either move through a vinyasa or simply come down to child's pose. I'll guide the vinyasa. So on an inhale, walk the hands out in front of you all the way till you're in plank position. On an exhale, lower the knees, the chest, and then the chin down towards the mat. Inhale, inch yourself forward, lift the heart up, baby low cobra. And then exhale, child's pose, moving through tabletop, knees spread wide, big toes touch, sink the hips back towards the heel, and rest the head towards the ground. Beautiful job. Pause here and simply breathe. Notice how you feel. Notice how the head feels, how the upper back, the chest, the heart space feels. Just let yourself recalibrate here for a couple moments. Beautiful job. You can either stay as you are and listen to my voice or prop yourself up, only if you're ready for your head to be lifted over the hips. Again, find what feels good for you. We were in an inversion for a while, so let yourself recalibrate if you need to. If you want to prop yourself up again, find what feels good for you, but I'll recap for us real quick before I let you go. So for this flow, we started this flow in the child's pose, and we had the option to either stay as you were or bring prayer hands and then lift the prayer up off the ground, maybe even bringing it behind the head and stepping the elbows a bit forward to work into the upper back region. Stay here for as long as you'd like. After that, we allowed the hands to come back down and then made our way to downward facing dog. So we came on up to tabletop and then pressed it on back. We paused here for a couple of breaths, really working into the backs of the legs, maybe pedaling it out, whatever felt good. And then we stepped the feet to as wide as the mat and worked for a while in that semi-wide-legged stance. We started hanging heavy. Again, you can add as much as a bend to the knees as you'd like. From there, we made our way to that twist. So we twisted on each side, held for a couple breaths. And then after that pose, we stepped the feet in. So we brought those feet to about hips distance, bend the knees, rest the belly on the knees, and either hung heavy here or found a clasp and lifted the hands up, maybe reached them towards the front of the mat. Pause here for however long you'd like, and then either vinyasa or straight to child's pose. So the vinyasa is one breath per movement, walking the hands forward, exhaling to lower down, inhaling to a low cobra, and exhaling to child's pose. So again, just as a recap, because I know I went through that a little bit quickly, we started in child's pose with the option for prayer hands behind the head. From there, we came on up to the downward facing dog. After that, we stepped the feet wide, forward fold with the wide legs, and then the twist on each side. We ended with that forward fold with the feet closer together and a possible bind of the hands behind the back. From there, made your way to child's pose however you'd like. So again, child's pose with prayer hands, down dog, semi-wide-legged forward fold, then added the twists, forward fold with a clasp of the hands. So again, you can do all, none, or some of that. Give yourself the time to rest and recalibrate afterwards because it's a lot of the head below the hip type motions. Again, I'll be here for you to guide your awareness, but stay with the breath and just find what feels good for you. And when you approach these forward fold type motions, can you truly embody the act of surrendering? So we have gravity's pull, pulling the body down. When you relax the body, kind of feel everything shift forward. A lot of love has to do with surrender, to letting go of the ego and finding peace with what is. So as you approach each shape in your body, allow yourself to embody love, to surrender, to let be. Let go of judgments of how you think your body should feel, or where you feel like you should be in your practice, or what your mind should be doing. The mind thinks, the body is. Let yourself just be as you are, finding love for every moment that you have on your mat. Wherever you're at, continue to breathe deeply, relaxing the body around the breath. Feel the breath enter and exit your body. Slow down time by slowing down the breath, being with the breath and the body for every moment. Notice where your awareness lies. Notice what your mind is thinking about right now. Again, become aware. Our practice is one of getting to know ourselves, not shutting off. So find joy and love in noticing how the mind works. When you're ready to come back to the present moment, feel the breath within. Allow the mind to soften. And simply continue to repeat the process. If you're still flowing, please take all the time you need. If you've completed that set of postures, take some time to let yourself recalibrate. Maybe you find a couple resting poses or simply a seated posture. Breathe deeply, sending the breath to the head space, to the heart, as you relax the jaw and soften the facial expression. Let yourself just be with and notice how you feel. Again, continue to move in any organic way that feels good for you. For our final flow of class, we'll meet up resting on our bellies. So again, take all the time you need. We will eventually meet up laying down on our bellies. But find whatever feels good for you right now, and only when and if you're ready to move forward, feel free to do so. And we'll do some gentle back bending with heart opening as well. To start, we're going to bring the hands under the shoulders. When we do so, squeeze the elbows in by your sides. So we'll start with some gentle low cobras. Tops of the toes press towards the mat as the hips press down. On an inhale, gently lift the heart and head up off the mat. On the exhale, slowly lower yourself back down. Do that 2 more times, following your inhales and exhales. Inhaling to rise, exhaling to lower, like a moving meditation. One more time. Inhale to lift, and exhale, lower. This time we're gonna lift up and hold. So on your next inhale, lift it on up. Once you're lifted, pause and hold. Breathe deeply. Shrug the shoulders down the back body. Elbows continue to squeeze by the sides. Again, hips pressed down, toes pressed down. Breathe deeply, relax the jaw, soften your gaze. One more big breath. And on your exhale, lower back down. If that felt like a deep enough back bend, you can stay there. If you want to move further, on your next inhale, we're going to clasp the hands behind the low back, just like we've done throughout practice today. Exhale. On your next inhale, lift the hands up off the low back, pull them towards the back of the room. As you do so, the heart will lift, toes stay on the ground, pressing down. Exhale, lower the forehead back towards the ground. 2 more times. Inhale, lift on up. Exhale, lower. Once more, then we're going to hold. Inhale to rise, follow your breath. Exhale, lower. Alrighty, we're going to hold this time. So inhale, peel it on up. Pause once you're lifted. Breathe deeply. Expand the heart space by rolling the shoulders down the back body. Keep pulling the hands behind you. Press the toes into the mat. 2 more big breaths. You got it. 1 more breath. Relax your jaw. On an exhale, slowly lower down. You can either rest the forehead or rest a cheek down on the mat as the hands rest by your sides. Pause for a couple moments. If you want to rock the hips side to side, feel free to do so. Breathe to the low back. For our final option, we're going to do a variation of Dhanurasana Bow Pose. You also have the option to do any of the postures we just did. So find what works in your body tonight. If you'd like to move to bow pose, on your next inhale, you're going to bend the knees and flex the feet. So here, we're going to try to keep the thighs and the knees pressing down towards the mat as much as you can so we can really work into the upper back and thoracic region. From here, maybe you reach back and grab a hold of the ankles. Notice if the knees are lifting up. If they are, continue to try to press them towards the ground. On your next inhale, maybe you kick the feet back and the heart lifts up off the mat. Again, we're not lifting the knees, we're keeping them down on the ground beneath us, the thighs stay down. Breathe to the heart space, to the chest. If you'd like to move to a lesser variation, feel free to do so. Couple more big breaths here. Let's take 2 more breaths. 1 more. On an exhale, slowly lower yourself down to the mat. Rest the opposite cheek or your forehead down. If the knees are bent, you can gently windshield wiper the feet side to side once your low back feels settled. Breathe deeply. Simply feel the body. And only when you're ready, gently lower the feet back towards the ground if they're lifted. So that is our final flow of class. I'll give you a recap briefly before I let you go. We started this flow with our low cobra, so the hands under the shoulders, elbows squeezing in by the sides. We lifted and lowered 3 times and then held. You can do as many as you'd like or as little as you'd like. From there, we moved to clasping the hands behind, keeping those feet down on the mat. Again, we lifted and lowered 3 times and then held, but you do whatever feels good for you. From there, option for a Dhanurasana Bow Pose. So this one we really focused on keeping the knees and thighs down towards the ground as we lifted up, breathing deeply rather than lifting the knees up off the ground. So you find what works for you. No need to go into that posture if it doesn't feel good for you today. After you're done with all your back bends, you'll make your way into child's pose with the knees touching or close together. So this is going to introduce lots of space to the low back, which we just worked. You can stay here for as long as you'd like. Maybe you even move forward to a forward fold with the legs extended out in front of you. Either way, do one or both of those postures to give yourself that space after working through those back bends. So again, it was the cobra, low cobra flow, then the clasp hands on the low back, and then option for bow pose. So take your time, explore those back bends. You can do all, none, or some of that, or simply rest. And then we'll meet up for the closing of class. And as you flow through these back bends, really try to embody softening the space around the heart, softening the mind towards the self, relaxing the jaw, and breathing deeply. And as you approach these last couple of postures of class, can you truly allow yourself to simply be here and now? If you were to take an outside perspective and look in on yourself, right now you're on your mat, in your body, flowing in the shapes that you're in right now. Can you let yourself embody that? Really be this person on the mat in the shape you're in. Let go of the future, the past, and just be yourself on your mat right now. Breathe into the loving energy within and around you as you soften into the heart space. Allow yourself to simply be here and now. Continue to breathe deeply, to feel the breath in your body, to find love for yourself and your practice as it is right now. Again, whenever you complete your back bends, find your way to child's pose with the knees close together and or a forward fold with the legs extended. Take time to find that counter position to relieve the body. For our closing of class, we will eventually meet up laying down on our back bodies. But again, if you're flowing and doing something to serve your body right now, take your time. You have all the time you need. Whenever you're ready to meet up, we'll meet up laying down. And if you'd like to join me for a final posture, I'll be guiding a gentle recline twist. So if you want to meet up laying down and join me for that, feel free to do so. Once you lay down, gently hug the knees in towards you, wrapping your arms around the legs. And if you'd like, you can add a gentle rock side to side, pressing the low back down towards the ground beneath you, giving yourself a little low back massage. Eventually find an exhale to release the hands and let them drop towards the ground in a T shape, and eventually lower the knees toward the left hand side. From here, you can send your gaze over your right hand. The eyes can be open or closed, but relax the shoulder blades down towards the ground beneath you and allow your body to simply fall into this twisted shape however it wants to and melt down. Take some big breaths, breathing toward the right hand side of your body as you relax the jaw. Let your body physically, mentally, emotionally wind down. Feel the breath enter and exit the body. Whenever your next inhale arises, gently bring the knees back up to center. And when you're ready, exhale, lower the legs on over toward the right hand side. Again, if you'd like, you can send the gaze over the left hand now. Eyes can be open or closed, whatever feels good. Let your body just relax and melt towards the ground in this shape. Breathe toward the left hand side and simply feel the breath ripple in and out of the body. Relax the jaw. Let yourself wind down. And only when you're ready, follow an inhale to bring the knees back up to center. Give yourself a gentle hug one more time. And from here, if you like to rock side to side, feel free to do so. If there's any other postures you wish to take, maybe like happy baby or butterfly legs, feel free to do whatever feels good. And only when you are ready, find your way to Shavasana and a final resting pose. So again, take your time, give yourself whatever you need before Shavasana, and we'll eventually meet up laying down, resting for our final pose. If you're still flowing, please take all the time that you need. Only when you're ready, make your way towards Shavasana. And once you arrive, gently draw the eyes closed and allow the body to rest. Begin to invite in a soft, easy, a loving state to your mind, to your body, to the space all around and within you. Begin to relax your body down even further, starting by softening the crown of your head. Relax your forehead, the eyebrows, and the eyes. Soften your temples, the cheekbones. Relax your jaw. Soften your lips, your teeth, and gently float the tongue down away from the roof of your mouth. Soften your ears as you relax the back of your head and your scalp. Soften the back of your neck, the sides, the front, as you allow the throat to open. Melt the shoulder blades down towards the ground beneath you. And feel the gentle opening of the heart space as you do so. Relax the shoulders along with the upper arms and the elbows. Soften the lower arms and the wrists. Relax your hands, allowing the fingers to naturally curl inwards. Soften the chest even further. Relax the heart space. Soften the rib cage and the belly. Melt the back body down towards the ground beneath you, working down the vertebra all the way to the low back and sacrum. Soften the glutes, the hips, the pelvic region as you relax the upper legs and the knees. Soften the lower legs and the ankles. Relax your feet, allowing every toe to get a little bit lighter. Notice if you're holding on anywhere else in your body and simply let go. Allow this relaxed, easy state to translate to your mind, softening the mind as though it's a muscle itself, letting it melt and fade away. For the next couple of moments, allow yourself to drift away into this peaceful state. And if you'd like, maybe you invite back in your loving memory, person, place. Bring it in through your senses and feel the love it brings to your heart. Gently begin to invite the awareness back in towards your body. Maybe you deepen your breath or introduce small wiggles to the toes, the fingers, the wrists and ankles. Take your time. Only when you feel ready, gently roll over to either side and pause to rest in a fetal position. Eventually press yourself all the way up to a seated posture, keeping the eyes softly closed as you move. We'll eventually meet up with the eyes drawn close and palms touching at heart center. Once you arrive in this position, take a couple of moments to consciously observe how you feel. Draw your awareness to your mind, to your head space. Simply observe how it feels. And come up with a word to describe the state of your mind. Draw your awareness to your body. Notice how it feels. Maybe pausing at the heart space in the chest and the upper back. Come up with a word to describe the state of your body. And eventually tune into your emotional well-being, becoming aware of the emotion that you feel right now. Take a moment to give yourself a big smile and really, really thank yourself for showing up here tonight, for dedicating your time to your health, to your life, and to your practice. And thank you so very much for sharing your beautiful practice and energy with me and everyone who joined in here tonight. The light in me truly honors the light in you. Namaste.